Anyone who's grown up in the South in the last 30 years understands, whether they've ever thought about it or not, that there's a central dichotomy that permeates every aspect of Southern life. Even if you don't know what half them $5 words mean, if you're from here, you get what we're talking about. A divide underlies the actions and words of every native Southerner. And no, it ain't Ford versus Chevy. The internal conflict that has defined what it means to be from the South is that of pride versus shame. You want an example? Jean shorts. We invented them. They hit. They also somehow don't hit. Proud. Also ashamed. To those outside the South, the shame side of things is easy enough to understand. After all, there's plenty to be ashamed of down here. The stars and bars, Jim Crow, Florida-Georgia line, etc. And we feel that way a lot. Duck Dynasty? Shame. Truck nuts? Shame. Institutional racism? Hell, double shame. We get it, is what we're saying. The shame is well-founded. Spending all your extra money on a houseboat rental and a keg over Labor Day weekend hits, but for whatever reason, when your in-laws find out, you feel a little guilty, like you ought not done that. That's what being from here is like, kinda. And many native Southerners live almost entirely on the shame side of the scale, leaving home the first chance they get, going out of their way to lose their accents and hide where they're from. It's a lot easier to resist ordering biscuits and gravy if you move to Connecticut and become gluten-free, after all. These people who left behind their Southern home, sympathetic though their stance may be, are not helping. If everyone who's worth a damn just leaves as soon as possible, then what's left? How will things ever get better? Sure, the demolition derbies and meat shoots, that's where you shoot guns to win hams, will kick more ass without those pussies around, but race relations probably won't improve too much. Still, the people on the shame end of the scale are much easier to understand and deal with than those on the pride side of things, and these people are legion down here. After all, how could they not be when everybody else just runs away? For those of you outside the South, when you think of rednecks, hillbillies, hicks, or Southern Baptists, these are the people you're picturing. They fly the stars and bars high from the back of their jacked-up trucks, the flagpole rising up between the bumper stickers on either side of the back glass with phrases like, drinking beers and shooting deers, and honk if I'm paying for your health care. Because we all know the country's entitlement programs are propped up by the tree trimming and pumping gas at a boat dock industries. Well, we're ready to dive in on what exactly it is they're proud of. It can't be the 2.2 GPA they maintained at one of the worst public schools in a state ranked 49th in education. Is it their ability to pound 14 beers during the ball game and still drive home? No. There actually is a lot to be proud of down here. And that's the part that's so hard for outsiders to understand. They easily grasp the shame, but the pride leaves them dumbfounded. But hell, fact is, we do some things better. College football? Check the scoreboard. Whiskey and bourbon? Shit ain't close. We celebrate as good or better than anyone else in the whole country. Hell, that's half the reason why we get so patriotic. When loving America and supporting the troops means getting hammered on a lake and shooting fireworks at each other's faces, it's hard not to feel like you are in the best country on earth. We know how to party. The southeastern United States is home to some of the best food, music, athletes, soldiers, whiskey, women, and weather this country has to offer. The home of Mark Twain and Andre 3000 is worth redeeming. And that's where this book comes in. We're going to tackle everything people think they know about the South, both the good and the bad, the glorious and the shameful. We're going to approach this Herculean task as honestly as possible, and in the process, we'll hopefully present to outsiders a side of Dixie they never knew existed. We may even come up with some ways of discussing tolerance and decency that both bigoted right-wing assholes and self-righteous prejudiced liberals from all over this country might be able to get on board with. Don't choke on your juice cleanse, Tristan. You got some learning to do, too. And lastly, we're going to drag our homeland kicking and screaming into the present, whether the prideful mouth breathers or the naysaying outsiders like it or not. Welcome to the New South.